Everyone, thank you for being here today. I want to talk to you about something powerful, something that lives within each of us, yet most of us don't fully understand its true potential. I'm talking about your brain, your most valuable asset. And more importantly, how to rewire it for success. The way you speak to yourself has a powerful impact on your beliefs, decisions, and ultimately, your success. Most people are unaware of the internal dialogue that runs through their minds every day, what psychologists call self-talk. This inner voice can either be a coach or a critic. If you're constantly telling yourself, "I'm not good enough, I always mess things up," or "success is for other people, not me," your brain begins to internalize those messages. Over time, they become your truth, not because they're accurate, but because you've repeated them often enough to make them believable. On the other hand, when you intentionally practice positive self-talk, you start to rewire your brain to think differently. Your brain is remarkably adaptable. It forms new neural pathways based on the thoughts and experiences you feed it. So, when you shift your internal dialogue to include phrases like "I'm capable," "I'm improving every day," or "I have what it takes," your brain starts to believe that too. This isn't about lying to yourself or ignoring reality. It's about choosing a more constructive and empowering narrative. Changing your self-talk begins with awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts throughout the day, especially when you're stressed, challenged, or trying something new. Catch yourself when you go into negative spirals and consciously replace those thoughts with positive, realistic alternatives. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I'll never be able to do this," pause and say, "This is hard, but I can learn and grow." The effects of positive self-talk go beyond just feeling better in the moment. It boosts your confidence, increases motivation, reduces stress, and improves performance. Athletes, performers, and high achievers across industries use affirmations and mental conditioning to reinforce a winning mindset, and so can you. It's important to practice this daily. You won't see dramatic change overnight, but over time, your consistent efforts will reshape how your brain responds to challenges and opportunities. You'll begin to approach life with a mindset that seeks solutions, embraces growth, and believes in your ability to succeed. Positive self-talk is not just a mental trick, it's a fundamental tool for rewiring your brain and unlocking the path to success. Success is not a one-time event. It is the result of small actions repeated consistently over time. These actions form habits, and habits shape your life. The brain thrives on efficiency. It creates shortcuts or neural pathways based on what you do repeatedly. The more often you perform a behavior, the stronger and faster the brain's connection to that behavior becomes. This is why repetition is key. It trains your brain to operate on autopilot in ways that serve your goals. Think of brushing your teeth. You don't have to think about it. It's automatic. That's the power of habit. Now imagine if that same automatic energy were directed toward reading daily, setting goals, or practicing a new skill. Over time, these behaviors would become effortless, and the results would compound. Your brain would begin to associate those actions with progress, confidence, and purpose. To build success habits, start small and stay consistent. Many people try to overhaul their lives all at once and quickly burn out. The truth is, lasting change happens through simple, repeatable steps. Choose one or two positive actions you can commit to each day, whether it's journaling your goals, waking up early, exercising, or dedicating focused time to your passion. As you repeat these actions, your brain forms stronger neural connections that make the habit easier and more natural. Repetition also builds discipline. Even on days when motivation fades, the habit pulls you forward. You don't rely on willpower, you rely on routine. Over time, this consistency creates momentum. What was once difficult becomes part of your identity. You stop saying, "I'm trying to be productive," and start saying, "I am productive." That shift in identity is what truly rewires your brain. It's important to track your progress and celebrate small wins. Each time you complete your habit, your brain releases dopamine, a chemical linked to reward and motivation. This reinforces the behavior and makes you more likely to repeat it. The brain learns through repetition and reward, so use both to your advantage. Building success habits through repetition is about training your brain to align with your goals. Success is not about luck or talent. It's about what you do consistently. Repetition turns effort into instinct and instinct into excellence. With patience and persistence, the habits you build today become the foundation of the success you experience tomorrow. Visualization is a powerful mental tool that can help you achieve your goals by training your brain to focus, believe, and act with purpose. When you visualize a goal, you're not just daydreaming, you're actively engaging your mind in a process that mimics real life experience. The brain doesn't fully distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual ones. This means that when you consistently picture yourself succeeding, performing at your best, or achieving something important, your brain responds as if it's really happening. Athletes, performers, and top professionals have used visualization for decades to prepare for high-stakes situations. They mentally rehearse their performance in detail, how it looks, feels, and sounds, until it becomes familiar. This process strengthens the neural connections related to that activity, increasing the chances of success when they actually perform. You can do the same with any goal, whether it's speaking confidently in public, building a business, or mastering a skill. To make visualization effective, you must be specific and consistent. Instead of imagining a vague outcome like being successful, picture yourself achieving a concrete goal, closing a big deal, receiving a promotion, finishing a marathon. Engage all your senses. What do you see around you? What do you hear? How do you feel? The more vivid and detailed the image, the more your brain engages with it. Visualization also helps to align your thoughts with your actions. When you see yourself taking steps toward your goals, you become more motivated to follow through in real life. It creates a sense of familiarity and confidence. Your brain begins to accept the vision as possible and even expected. As a result, you become more focused, disciplined, and persistent. Another benefit of visualization is its power to reduce anxiety and fear. When you repeatedly imagine yourself handling difficult situations with calm and control, your brain becomes less reactive to stress. You've already been there in your mind, so when the real moment arrives, you feel more prepared and less overwhelmed. Make visualization a daily practice, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Combine it with affirmations or goal setting to reinforce the mindset. Over time, this habit will train your brain to recognize opportunities, overcome obstacles, and stay aligned with your vision. Visualization is more than imagination. It's mental preparation, and it's one of the most effective ways to rewire your brain for success. Discomfort is often seen as something to avoid, something negative or even threatening, but in truth, discomfort is a signal of growth. It is the space where transformation happens, where the boundaries of your comfort zone are stretched and new capabilities are developed. When you embrace discomfort rather than fear it, you train your brain to adapt, grow, and ultimately thrive under pressure. The brain naturally seeks safety and predictability. It wants to stick with what it knows because the unknown feels risky. This instinct was useful for survival, but in the modern world, it can hold you back from reaching your full potential. Every time you step into something new, starting a business, learning a skill, speaking in public, or taking on a challenge, you trigger discomfort. But that discomfort is not danger, it's development. Growth requires stress, not the harmful kind, but the productive kind. Think of how muscles grow. You lift weights, creating micro tears in the muscle fibers, and the body rebuilds them stronger than before. The brain works in a similar way. Each time you take on a challenge, struggle through it, and push past your limits, your brain builds new neural pathways. you become more capable, more resilient, and more confident. Avoiding discomfort may feel easier in the moment, but it comes at a long-term cost: stagnation. When you only do what's easy, you limit your growth and miss out on opportunities. On the other hand, when you lean into what's difficult, even when it's scary or uncertain, you expand your potential. You teach your brain that it can handle more than it thinks. This mindset shift is essential to rewiring your brain for success. Instead of seeing failure or struggle as signs to quit, see them as invitations to rise. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Whether it's waking up earlier, having a hard conversation, or trying something new, let discomfort become your cue to keep going, not your reason to stop. Make it a habit to seek out challenges. Start small and build your tolerance. The more often you push yourself, the more familiar discomfort becomes, and the less power it has over you. Over time, your brain rewires itself to view discomfort not as a threat, but as a stepping stone. That's when real growth begins, and success becomes not just possible, but inevitable.